Hey, genealogy queens. So, I'm most likely going to make a part two to this, like I did with the Mali one, because there was so much to talk about for Mali. But the funny part about this is that I went straight to Mali, but I completely forgot about Benin/Togo. I went from 39% to 10%, but I'm 39% Cameroon/Congo and Southern Bantu peoples, and I'm 24% Benin/Togo or Benin, and I am 10% Mali. So me being 24% Benin/Togo, I have no idea about Benin/Togo. Nothing really much about the history or anything like that, other than that it's in West Africa. But I see that, of course, it's near Mali, it's near Burkina Faso, Nigeria, Ghana, of course, Cameroon. It's near Guinea, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Chad, Niger, and then Equatorial Guinea. And I've never heard of that. Well, I have heard of Equatorial Guinea actually, but I have not done a lot of research there. So let's check on some of the history of Benin/Togo. So it says, for years, anthropologists and others looked at African ethnic groups as being mostly solitary and static. However, historians now know that huge empires and kingdoms, with administrations and armies, diplomatic corps, and distant trading partners have long been part of Africa's fabric. This is especially true of West Africa, where migrations, conquests, and intermarriage within allied kingdoms help explain why. For example, 43% of people from our Benin/Togo region have DNA that looks similar to the profile for our Ivory Coast/Ghana region, and 28% appear to have links to our profile for Nigeria. Wow. Well, they are all close together in a way, so that would make sense for them to have those links to those other parts of Africa, So it says primarily located in Benin/Togo. That's what we're talking about, or Benin or Togo. It's also found in Ivory Coast, Ghana, Nigeria, Mali, Sierra Leone, and Gabon. And I was actually talking about that before I went into the history part of what surrounded Benin/Togo. So it says, we already read that part, and so Benin sits just west of Nigeria, and west of Benin is Togo. Benin has a population of 9.88 million that is growing at an annual rate of 2.84%. Togo is only slightly behind with a growth rate of 2.73% and 7.15 million people. Both countries' populations are largely rural, but more densely concentrated along the coast. Though tied closely together by history, geography, and religion, the inhabitants of Benin and Togo are ethnically quite different. But let's see how they're quite different. Okay, so we got Benin right there on the left, and we got Benin right there on the right, and we've got Togo right there on the left. Okay. So Benin's largest ethnic group is the Fon, 39%. Followed by the Aja, 15%, and Yoruba, 12%, and Bariba, 9%. Togo's largest ethnic groups are the Ewe, 21%, Kabie, 12%, Mina, 3.2%, and Kotokoli, 3.2%. So please help me if I'm saying these wrong. I hope I'm not butchering these names. Benin has more ethnic ties to its neighbor Nigeria. Togo has more links to Ghana. Oh, that's interesting. Wow. So Benin has more links to Nigeria and Togo more links to Ghana. That is so cool. Wow. These ethnic ties are the result of long-standing kingdoms that flourished before European colonists created new borders. Considering their small size, both countries have great ethnic diversity, especially in the north. Some populations there are related to ethnic groups farther north in Burkina Faso, I'm sorry, you guys, sometimes it's, and the small but influential Hausa population is largely responsible for bringing Islam to Togo. What? Wow. Hausa population is largely responsible for bringing Islam to Togo. That's interesting. Because remember when we were talking about Mali, and they were talking about that it was something about the Middle Eastern and North African with Mali, and how that kind of is mixed in the Mali people, or somehow might be mixed in there. I can't remember exactly what was said. I'd have to go back. But that is interesting. And I've heard of the Hausa people. I've heard of them, but I didn't know much about them. And this doesn't really give much detail of what they are, of who they are either, but it's really cool, you know? It says that in the south of Benin, the Fan people are dominant, and they are descendants from the powerful African kingdom of Dahame, that ruled the region from about 1600 to 1900. Wow. So the Benin and Togolese practice herding, fishing, and subsistence farming. Kind of kind of similar to Mali. I mean, Mali was good, and they were big in agriculture, and they I don't remember if they were in fishing and herding, but I know they were in agriculture, which I would also consider farming in a different way, you know, but they're still farming. Says that the Hame is many people in Togo and Benin speak one of about 20 related Gibet languages. Linguistic evidence indicates that most of the Gibet people came from the east in several migrations between the 10th and 15th centuries. The Gibet you guys, I'm sorry. The Gibet were pushed westward during a series of wars with the Yoruba people of Nigeria, then settled in Tado and Mono River in present-day Togo. And around 1600, Fan immigrants from Tado established the kingdom of Dahame, a Fan monarchy that ruled Benin for some 300 years. Wow. Its standing army and aggressive economic model that relied on slavery for export and labor, and its Amazon warriors, elite troops of fierce female combat soldiers, made the kingdom of Dahomey a powerful regional threat. Oh, wow. So it says that in Togo, the Kabye and Lamba or Lama peoples migrated to the north between 600 and 1200 AD. It says that many other groups who settled in Togo were refugees of wars in Dahomey and what is now Ghana. Oh, wow. And then we go into the slave trade, where European slave traders first became a force on the coast of West Africa. By 1475, Portuguese traders had reached the Bight of Benin, and by the mid-1500s, Spain and England had also legalized the slave trade. As the demand for slaves grew, the kingdom of Dahomey and others in the region provided European traders with a constant supply in exchange for goods and firearms. Wrong idea. Anyways, Dahomey, which had long paid tribute to the Yoruba Empire of oil, used its new weapons and power to throw off that yoke. Okay. Colonization was with the end of slavery, the kingdom of Dahomey began an economic decline. The French defeated Dahomey in a series of wars between 1890 and 1894, and eventually both Benin and Togo, minus an area under British control, became part of French West Africa. One result of the French colonial period was that, in many cases, French West Africans had certain citizenship or other rights under French law. Over time, African communities sprang up in France and other parts of Europe. In 1960, both Benin and Togo declared independence. Oh, wow. Wow. Isn't that interesting? So, what did I want to look up? The Home. So says the kingdom of Dahomey was an African kingdom located within the area of the present-day country of Benin. That existed from about 1600 until 1894, which we previously know now after reading. But when the last king, Ben Hazen, was defeated by the French and the country was annexed into the French colonial empire, Dahomey developed on the Aboney Plateau amongst the Fon people in the early 17th century and became a regional power in the 18th century by conquering key cities on the Atlantic coast. Wow. Okay. So, Behansen, king of Dahomey. Wow. He was born in 1845 and died in 1906, December 10th. And his father was Galele. And he died in 1889, was the 10th king of Dahomey, ruling from 1858 until his death. Life, Badoho, who took the throne, named. Oh, so his original name was. So his father's original name was Badoho, who took the throne, named Galili, is considered, if Adon Dozan is not counted, to be the 10th king of the Aja king of Dahomey, part of modern-day Benin. He succeeded his father, Gezel, and ruled from 1858 to 1859. And that's a whole bloodline going just down to grandparents to... So you've got... That's super, super cool. So you have Ben Hazen, then you have his father, Galele, or Badoho, and then his father's father, Gezel. That's really cool. That's really cool. Wow. Well, guys, I will end it here. If I make a second video, I will see what more new information I can find on certain things that were mentioned in this DNA origins of Benin and Togo. Have a great day, guys.